Hello and welcome back to Granted Gardens. So I didn't do a garden tour this past weekend, and I was going to hold off and do one next weekend just because there are some changes to the previous summer garden / new fall garden. But I was out here today and I was watering, and the stuff that I'm seeing, I was just laughing to myself, so I had to do a video. Some of the things that are going on here are kind of blowing my mind, so I just wanted to go ahead and shoot a quick video while I'm out here watering. I'll go ahead and I'll show you around real quick. Check it out. So first things first. This one was probably the most interesting to me. For the last couple weeks, there has been this like fuzzy looking thing growing on what I thought was the cucumbers. If you remember back to some of my previous videos at the initial beginning of the summer over in this corner here, I had mentioned that I was growing melons. Then as they started to produce, I was picking cucumbers. So I came back and I apologized for my mistake and let you guys know that I was then growing cucumbers. Now I'm starting to think that there might be melons over here. Take a look and let me know what you think. So here's the plant, the initial plant that I had at the beginning of the summer said I was growing melons. Then we were picking cucumbers from, okay? So this leaf here is part of the plant that we picked what we decided were cucumbers from. And here is one growing right here. So this is definitely a cucumber. The interesting part of it is when they're fully developed, they look nothing like our other cucumbers that we have growing in the other bed. I'm not entirely sure where this cucumber came from. But anyway, so moving on. Now, if you look over here, we've got a different looking leaf. If you look here, so this one here has got kind of a point to it. Now over here, this leaf is sort of heart-shaped. I had not noticed this until today when I was paying closer attention to the fruits that were coming off of this. So last week, I had noticed this guy and Tyler had pointed him out too, and he goes, "This is so weird, you need to come over here and look." He's like, "This is like a fuzzy cucumber." And I was like, that is weird, and I just figured maybe it was some deformed cucumber. But now I'm looking even closer. See if we can get back here. We've got another quote-unquote fuzzy cucumber. Then today I come out here while I'm watering and I'm paying attention to the difference in the leaves. So what I've decided is that there's two plants here, which there were two plants that I planted. One of them are the melons, guys. There were melons here the entire time. I knew I wasn't wrong, okay? I knew I wasn't wrong. This plant here must have been mismarked in the set that I bought, because these are melons, and then the rest of those which have heart-shaped leaves are also melons, which were marked clearly, and those are over there. We're getting melons. I am so excited about this, realizing this today. This will officially be the first time I have ever grown melons in my entire life. I don't even think that like in my childhood that we grew melons, so I'm so new to this. But I'm really excited to say that I think it's official, we've got melons, which is also interesting because these plants over here that I just showed you are producing before the plants back there, which are the ones that I knew were melons. So this has been an experiment all along, but I'm pretty excited about that. I think that's really fun that in fact, I was not entirely wrong this entire time that I was shooting these videos. We do have melons. On to the next thing that I'm surprisingly, it has been a surprise, but super excited about, are these cucamelons. The cucamelons are a mix actually I had someone describe it better to me today. It's mixed between like a lime and a cucumber. You've seen these in my videos before. I knew this guy was here. The smaller leaves that you see, those are all cucamelon plants. There is one plant at the base down here. One. All of those vines come from one plant. So again, what I'm super excited about. I kind of knew what cucamelons were. I was introduced to them by other YouTubers. And that was why I initially wanted to grow them, because they looked really interesting and they sounded like they tasted delicious. So I was excited about that. But what I wasn't expecting was to have one plant grow so much. And I personally, aside from the fact that they taste amazing and that they're super fun to eat because they're just tiny, you just pop them in your mouth, this trellis covered in that vine from that one plant, it just blows my mind. I think that's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So next year, I'm definitely going to take this into consideration, and instead of just planting it to produce fruit, I'm going to plant it in an area that it gets a little bit more attention and is more easily seen, because I just think that's absolutely beautiful. So not only is this cucamelon filling up this trellis right here, as you can see, if you look down here, right here, that's the base, that's where this plant starts. One plant. But he's done taking over this whole section. He's spreading this direction, up over the fence, over the trellis, heading over to the cucumbers. He's over here in this corner where he has just owned space in this corner. But he's also, what I'm super, super excited about, guys, look. He has found his way to my arch trellis. I'm so excited. Maybe if we can get him to hold on, maybe he'll be some fall decor for the arch trellis. Isn't that amazing? And just look, he's completely taken over this trellis that we put up here, this little cage for the cucumbers / melons. And he's just owned the top of this. Look at him. He's everywhere. But in addition to that, he still keeps going. Look, he's going all the way. He's reaching over to the second garden bed now on the ground, which I need to try and do something about this. I'm gonna try and pick him up. But he is reaching, here's the spider web, I don't know if you can see it, to the spider that I usually go ahead and do a debut in all of my videos, but it doesn't look like he's home right now. But yeah, it's going all the way over here. And then look, I just thought this was so funny. This made me laugh. He's wrapping around the sunflower. He's trying to do his part and to get the sunflower to stand back up again. I just thought that was so funny. It's amazing what this one plant can do. Now I would say from the get-go, this plant would be excellent on an arch trellis because they're smaller fruits, so they don't get too heavy, and the way it vines, I just think it would be absolutely gorgeous. But the only thing that would keep me from doing that right away, especially at the beginning of the spring, is how it took so long to get itself up and moving. We planted him in here pretty much, I think it was it might have been like 2 weeks into our summer garden bed when we were planting stuff, but he literally sat there again for the longest time and checking all my other videos, not doing too much. And then out of nowhere, he just took off and he is just consuming the garden. But I do think that he would be beautiful on an arch trellis. Check out this sunflower. I think he's almost ready to be picked and get his seeds. But I've been told I have to wait till the back starts to turn brown. And unfortunately, I think somebody knows he's here. Some leftovers on the ground. Hopefully someone else doesn't get to them before I do. I have been talking to you guys all summer long about this pepper plant that I planted. They are called Mad Hatters. Let me see if I can pull the tag for you. I bought these on a whim when I was purchasing plants to put in the garden bed in early spring. And I had never heard of them before. I've still to this day never tried them, but I loved the name and I thought that they looked really neat. So I bought one plant just to see what it would do. And literally all summer long, it has not done much. All summer long, I've been out here pointing out this pepper plant to you guys and saying, oh, you know, there's my Mad Hatter. I'm really excited. I hope something happens. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my phone up. I hope something happens, and he's just kind of sat there, like not getting any bigger, not producing any flowers, but happily sat there. So now he's finally producing. Check this out. Not only one, but we got another one here, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 peppers on him out of nowhere. Look at how cool these are. Don't they look so different? I thought this was fun. I'm really excited. Now again, as I mentioned, this is my first year ever growing these as well. I absolutely know nothing about them. I just bought them on a whim at the store. So I don't know anybody who's grown these before. If you do, or you know anything about them, please email me or message me below, because I'm curious to know. I don't know when we're supposed to pick them, but there are pictures of both the green and the red peppers on the tag. So I guess I'm gonna wait and see if they change color. But I'm really excited about that. All right, now since we were doing all this talk about melons, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the other side of the garden bed with the rest of the melons that were clearly marked, and see what they're doing. So these are the other melons, which you can see they are definitely heart-shaped leaves. So I'm very confident that we're not gonna end up with cucumbers out of these 2 plants. But the more I look around, I do not see any fruit yet. I have so much work to do out here. I need to pick these guys up. But I do not see any of the fuzzy fruit, so these guys might be a little bit later than the ones in the other garden bed, which is interesting because they were planted at the same time, so we should see. But over here are cucumbers along the back. So something that I've noticed is there's something going on with these guys. I don't know if it's a disease of some sort, but basically from this side over, things start to turn yellow. But we've got a cucumber. He's almost ready to get picked, I think, over here on the fence. But these guys all started yellowing off. I don't know what to do about that. We did drop some plant fertilizer in the bottom down there, so hopefully that helps. We've been picking cucumbers absolutely every single day, and it's a lot of fun. I gotta be honest, I like cucumbers. I think that it looks really pretty. I love the look of it, and it's just fun to come out here and like dig around and find massive fruit. I think it's really fun. Down here, the kale garden bed. So the kale's doing pretty good. I don't think anything's really messed with it, so that's good. Over to the peas, or no, these are beans. Over to the beans, these are the peas. So I had initially talked to Tyler about this, and I said, no, like we'll plant them over in the corner without a trellis. My reasoning for that was because the beans that we had throughout the summer this year, if you look at my videos, they really didn't get very tall. So I was thinking maybe they were a bush bean variety and not a climbing bean. So I thought, well, then we won't take up space in our arch to plant them. But now I'm thinking that they need extra support. So I'm gonna have to come up with something there. They're climbers and they're in the mud, so I need to do something about that, like today. The peas, they are doing absolutely awesome. Look at them growing up the trellis, 0 effort. Like you just plant these babies and they just go to town. And I'm super excited to see how far we can get these to go, and how long they'll last into the cooler seasons, into the fall. Over here, we did cucumbers on this side of the trellis this time for fall garden. We wanted to mix it up a little bit. Originally, the peas were here, the beginning of the spring. So we went ahead and we did more cucumbers. We're gonna have a ton of cucumbers, but they're getting big. They're happy as all get out. So I think they're doing well. I just need to train them up against the trellis because they seem to be struggling finding their way. So I had to train them. These are my tomato bushes, tomato plants. So this one here and this one here, I believe, were the ones that I had gotten from a plant swap late in the spring, earlier this spring. And so we kind of planted them last minute over in this area. Now, the other ones that we have down here, so this guy, and then further in the back, that guy, are suckers that I got off of our tomato plants earlier this year. If you're not familiar with what suckers are, I made a video on it earlier, and I'll make sure that I post the link at the bottom, so check out that video. It's a really great way to get free tomato plants. You basically just propagate from the plants that you already have, and you root what you cut off, you root the ones that come off the suckers, and you can plant them right in the garden bed and get free plants. Moving on, we got a pepper plant down here. He's been here all year. A potato that Tyler tossed in. That looks like he's doing pretty good. Obviously our other peppers, which are coming along just fine. We've got peppers on both of these plants here. More cucumbers along the back. Those are all original that we planted earlier in the spring. Down here we've got another tomato plant. So this one here was a new sucker that I planted recently within the last few weeks. There were two that I planted. The other one was planted next to the tomato plants that were right here, and the 4 tomato plants, the big ones that were here, were all sick. I was really heartbroken about the big tomato plants in the garden bed this year because they were the only tomato plants that I bought for slicer tomatoes, so for big tomatoes, and I was looking so forward to having my big tomatoes. They just didn't cut it in this garden bed this year. So next year we'd have to come up with a different situation, and hopefully they'll do better. Like I said, the 4 that were here got really sick. I did get a couple tomatoes off of them, and then the rest of them I picked as they were green. I'm just gonna let them ripen in the kitchen. But we pulled out those, and then the one sucker plant that I had planted between those 4 also got sick, I guess because he was around the other ones. And so we decided to just completely pull out the tomatoes and go ahead and plant something that we knew was going to produce for us this year. So we went ahead and planted more cucumbers. Now these cucumbers are from seed, I believe. I'll have to double check with Tyler, but I'm pretty sure that these are cucumbers from seed that we had started on the deck. We let them get to about this size. We just planted these a day or 2 ago. I had gotten this gate on Free Cycle and thought that it would work perfectly as a trellis, so we went ahead and put that in. So we actually have 7, 4 on the back side and 3 on this side, new cucumber plants that are going to grow up in here, so I'm really excited about that. We will definitely have enough pickles, I believe, for a while. I just couldn't miss an opportunity to share this with you because I was just enjoying myself so much being out here today and seeing how much everything's changed, seeing stuff that hadn't started so long into the summer and now all of a sudden taking off. And then I hate to say it as much as it broke my heart to tear out my tomatoes. I'm excited to see something there that is going to grow and produce for us. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon.